Classic versus GuMiho.
Daedalus, the last map of the day. One of these two players will advance to Code S. To the top left, we have Classic.
Won the first series, yeah.
2-0. Absolutely impressive performance, but now in the second series, it is 1-1. We're on the last map, and to the bottom right, a Terran player. It is his map choice. Can he win here? It is GuMiho.
And, you know, really, GuMiho, not the favorite here. We talked about this map a lot. There's a lot of weird stuff going on to Zerg units around the map, but GuMiho's chosen this map, right? Let's talk about we talked about the natural being wide open, so to put things beyond that, look at the main base and the natural location. Look at how far away they are. If you want to defend your main base while there's an attack going on at your natural, if there's a drop in the main at the same time, there's a huge distance between these two bases where you have to walk your stalkers and your zealots. And so it's a lot easier to do multi-pronged attack as a Terran player here. And then you can, of course, bounce to the third base as well with a dropship if need be. The bases are pretty far apart from each other.
I think it's just the drop defense of Classic was incredible so far. Those few Phoenixes, I mean, he gets the Stargate, he goes into an Oracle, he tries to harass, and then later on he gets just 1 or 2 Phoenixes. And they have done an incredible job against the drop play of GuMiho so far. GuMiho might be able to get the drop in, but he doesn't get it out anymore.
Yeah.
So the Medivac always dies. And he's never in that position that a lot of Protoss players find themselves in, where they are constantly harassed by a dropship of a Terran player, because he always gets away once the Protoss mobs in units or walks in with a few gateway units, and the Terran player just simply picks up into the Medivac, moves to the next space, or just hides a little bit and comes back a minute later. So this really helped Classic and gives him a lot of stability back at home.
Yeah, that's very true. First Zealot being made for Classic here right now, back at home. He keeps his buildings in the SimC at the back of his base. May cancel the Zealot if you know he wants to go for a faster Nexus and sees that there's no eBay block. And it's actually pretty tough to eBay block on this map, so I think he's going to keep it. Mothership core goes down instantly as soon as he has enough resources and the core finishes.
A bit more of a traditional opening here now for GuMiho, so it's not going to go into a double barracks opening that we saw twice in a row now. Instead, he starts with Reaper into the game, goes into Reactor, starts the command center before that. So pretty much what we see in most Terran over Protoss these days from the Terran player.
Classic has done this against GuMiho in game 1 of the first series. He's doing it again, where he sends his probe in for a second pass, comes around, we'll see the command center, even harassing it right now with his probe, as you guys can see on the minimap, that flashing, which is going to force a second SCV down. Then he's going to be able to go into the main base. He already knows about the Reaper part of the build. And he actually doesn't even have a second SCV down here. This is further delaying this command center. And the worker may die. The Reaper's going to come to the rescue. Oh, one more shot would have done it.
Yeah, almost close, but the probe goes down. But he delays the command center. He
cancels the CC! Whoa, GuMiho, that's not what you want. I mean, he knows there's Stalker Zealot pressure coming here, but he could have waited till the last second to cancel it. I guess his idea is he's scared he's going to lose it, so he wants to restart it as soon as possible.
I guess so, but that is huge. That's big. I mean, he has to cancel the command center against the pressure that comes from the Protoss player, and holds with the bunker on the top, but that's the problem.
That's 100 minerals, too, for the bunker that he's going to get back later, but not for a while. And the Nexus has started up already for Classic. And he can actually maybe like drop a Forge if he wants to here. And or Robotics. There's the Robo. And this is not good for GuMiho. Not a great start here. Does have a pretty aggressive stem timing though, and is going to have a lot of units out early on to do what he likes to do on a natural that is very wide open. And like I said, the bases are far from each other.
And it's a pretty bad start for GuMiho, definitely. I mean, cancelling that, and that's why a lot of Terran players will get the commands on the high ground, because it's just like a lot safer to do that. But the bigger question is, what is GuMiho going to do from now on? I really want to see how he's playing in the mid game, because the drops just don't seem to work. And
no, they're having trouble, especially against a solid defense. Once the Phoenixes come on, if he has those.
Exactly, but this time we don't see the Stargate opening that we saw in the rest of the game. It's like a lot faster. So I really want to see if GuMiho is able to just make the drop play work this time. One thing about Classic that we saw in all of the games so far is that usually his defense is really good. That he has units where he needs to have them. He has the Phoenixes out. If he has High Templars, he has a couple in position to just go for the feedbacks. And GuMiho had a very tough time in most of the games so far to get a drop in, to do damage. And I want to see if he is able to find a hole in the defense of his opponent this time.
Well, Daedalus Point, like I said, if he goes for later on in the game, I mean like 4 or 5 minutes from now, if he goes for a ground-based attack at the natural, then drops in the main base, he's going to really tax Classic's multitasking before he has High Templar out. Especially because he went Robotics first, he's going to be relying on Colossi. Fake Oracle here, the way it's moved and the way he doesn't take damage, it could be seen as real to GuMiho. But I don't think he's going to fall for that. No, definitely not. He doesn't even move his Marines to try to deal with it. He knows it's fake. All of his stuff is scouted though in his main base. All of his tech and his barracks production. And the timing of the starport as well. I don't know, man. This is a really strong push coming across the map. And look at the spy 32-17 in army.
He also missed it with the Observer.
Mothership Core, though, is just going to say no to this. There's a cannon going up as well.
I mean, this is the one thing that kind of pisses off every Terran player that exists right now, that the Mothership Core with the Photon Overcharge is basically just shutting down whatever you do in the early game. It's the one complaint that every Terran player voices if you talk with him about the Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah.
He says, like, I can't do anything early game. I have no options. As soon
2
as
shots on the Marine.
Exactly. As soon as the Mothership Core is at home, I can't do anything. And GuMiho apparently tries to circumvent that with a drop in the main base.
Yeah, this is really nice. This is one way you can split up the units, like I said before. The cannon here is quite nice, but still, he's doing a lot of damage to the probes, and he attacks in the natural here at the same time, forcing that overcharge.
9 Harvesters killed, that's okay. He's moving in, the force fields are good though, and that Photon Overcharge, it's doing work.
Yeah, where's the medevac? Looks like it's already gone. He can't actually escape with his Marines, and look at the supply for him. He drops down like crazy. And the probe count is still ahead. Obviously with mules, that's still better for the Terran, but that's a big sacrifice of his units. And if you sacrifice this many units, you give the Protoss player flexibility to take a third base.
I mean, the Hellions in the main base, completely worth it. Taking down the probes, great. Then going in, baiting the Photon Overcharge, alright. But then committing?
No.
The force fields just were too good. Without the force fields, it would maybe have been a different story, but the force fields alone just trapped him in a really awkward spot. They split the army in half. Half of the Marines were trapped. The other half was trying to get around the force field to help their buddies. Didn't really work. Mothership Core with the Photon Overcharge and the rest of the remaining gateway units did too much damage. And now GuMiho is looking for another opening, but
he adds 3 barracks instead of a third CC, and he's going to add tech labs on those barracks and start his Marauder count because he still has a pure Marine army. Forces another overcharge in the main base here. He needs to get out, like, immediately. But,
they're High Templars already. We do not have a Ghost Academy. He's just going into, like, mass barracks. And
I think he might do the lazy boy push. I think he might pull his SCVs here off of 2 base.
I do not.
It's not going to work, though. Storm's already ready.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the timing is usually before Storm. You try to get that before the Storm upgrade is there. If you
and he's also getting a second E-base, so I don't think he's going to do it anymore. But
yeah, I would be very surprised.
But still, I mean, what is he going to do? Because he doesn't have a third base, and Classic could take one at any point in time. There's the third base started for him. He's working on it. Classic's builds just seem crisp. They're all almost identical, the way he executes them. He's going for that same 2 Templar drop every time. Here they come, around the base.
It just always looks like GuMiho is looking for an answer and desperately trying to find it. And right now he doesn't.
1 Zealot warp in.
It's just a cancel.
He's actually going to kill. He's actually going to kill the warp prism with that.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Whoa! What?
And he makes the Archon as well. And GuMiho has to start kiting. The feedback goes down here, and GuMiho's not paying attention. Oh my god, these...
Holy...
That was a bait there. I was like, oh, well, this is a mistake. He's going to lose his Templar, but no.
Classic is a master bait. I mean, this was amazing. That dropship there, oh my god, warping in the Zealot, going against the SCV, trying to lure GuMiho in a position where he just drops all of the units to save the SCV, save the command center, and a double storm. Wow. That was insane.
Yeah, that was amazing, actually. Good storm here on these Marauders. They do ride out the storm, but the Archon's coming from this forward pylon, plus that second storm that goes down is going to put GuMiho in a very tense situation. Charge is almost done as well. GuMiho has +1 attack, but that the only upgrade that he has. And he's getting some bunkers up right. Third command center still not done yet. Wouldn't mind doing a little bit of extra damage to that Stalker and some of the shields around him. Could actually get a shot on the Archon. Does bonus damage to shields.
Oh god, here we come. He's moving in at that third. The third is not
this,
completed. Oh, this is going to do a lot of damage. He can't kill it though. The lift is there right away. Storms on the ramp. We have a drop to the top left, and that drop is doing some damage here.
A little
but
bit.
not enough.
Not enough. It's shut down. It's pushed back. Classic does not ever leave anything to chance when it comes to his drop play, or his drop defense, that is to say. GuMiho with a decent wall here, but his bunkers, where are they? They're back here at the back.
Here come those storms. Good bunker positioning. It's not too bad. It's like just in range of those few zealots that we have there.
Yeah.
But a couple of the supply depots go down.
He didn't cancel his CC, so it's still alive. This Marauder Force is actually going to require a warp in of units, or he might lose his Nexus to be targeted during this.
Marauders do a lot of damage, and that's also true, of course. Here, the defensive two bunkers are still going strong. At the same time, the double time warp is already dropped. Stim is going off, and at the same time, the SCVs are closing the distance. Back to the top left, the Marauders are going to take down the Nexus.
Is he going to hold here?
Can he hold here? If he holds, it would be amazing for GuMiho.
A few more units coming out, but he's dropped
70 supply.
He's dropping down in supply. Doesn't get the Nexus. He might still, but he's having to kite up here. There's way too many Archons, Keller. He's trying to reinforce his units out here. He drops a 61 supply.
Oh god,
The Marauder is cleaned up, the Nexus survives, and I think GuMiho's chances of getting that ST award and staying in Code S
He's
are all
microing
but
his
over
heart
here.
out right now, but he's down to 50 supply against 93. His army supply is at 40 against 47. He might be able to make that work. Those Archons, on the other hand, are really going strong. Marauders coming in from everywhere. He's rebuilding, but he's down to 13 SCVs against 52 probes. He can, of course, use the mules. He has triple CC, but his command center on the low ground is still being attacked, and that dropship at the top left still trying to do some damage somehow.
Yeah, he's trying, but the next warp on of Zealots looks like it might be the end of him. He keeps the third Nexus alive, Classic that is. He's chrono boosting his gateways, shuts down the drop. And GG, Classic will take the second 2-1 series. GuMiho drops his headset off, and you know, this is tense, man. This is one of those games where you never know if you're ever going to see GuMiho again after this series. And Classic knocks him down to Code B.
That was so intense. I mean, for a second it really looked like it would work, but I mean, the craziest moment in this game was really when Classic just baited out that drop and dropped the double storm on top of it.
That was crazy.
That was
insane.
absolutely insane. I mean, you could really see, for a second I was really thinking, does he drop a High Templar and just storm this one SCV to delay the command center? And then he starts the warp, and then I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And the units go in and suddenly the storms go off, and I'm like, oh my god.
Genius idea.
That was really, really smart. And I mean, if GuMiho kills the third base and holds maybe, but without killing the third base at the top left with his Marauders, Classic was just everywhere at that point. He was at the third base defending with a warp in. He had units at the natural. He was just waiting for the medevac to move in. And down at the bottom right, he took down the bases of GuMiho.
GuMiho's style of aggression was just so directly countered by the defensive style of Classic. We're going to take a look at our match results for today, remind you guys what we've seen. And it was a really big domination earlier today. Curious taking the 4-0 first place spot. And then, of course, Ruin taking the first win against Sleep and takes the second one as well. Similar to what we saw with GuMiho.
Yeah, so that was, of course, the Group B was actually
yeah,
what we
Group B.
just saw there. This is Group A. And yeah, GuMiho, I mean, he made Classic work for that in the final match. He made him really work for it, but Classic just too strong today. And the two Protoss players, they advanced. SOS and Classic was, I mean, a great performance today.
Yeah. So for tomorrow, this is going to be Group D. We're starting things off with Keen versus Myungshik, Terran versus Protoss, and after that we will have Trust versus Symbol. So a really good day of matches starting things off in the afternoon group at 1 p.m.
Then we have the evening matches where we have 4 additional players. Of course, we are starting things off with another Terran versus Protoss as Flash meets Yonghwa. And then we have Lenok versus Bravo, so pretty cool games incoming.
These are like the ones to watch tomorrow. I mean, the early match is cool and all, especially with Symbol playing, but this is the one. This is the highest profile. Flash and Yonghwa, Lenok and Bravo. And all of these 4 players clashing against each other. Winners match, losers match. The final match, it's going to be awesome. Definitely spread the word about that 6 o'clock match because that's really the one to watch. The early match is cool if you have time, if you're going to be awake then, which I know a lot of you are. Watch both. But if you only watch one, I think the second one is definitely the one to watch.
Exactly. Also for Lenok, it's of course the same situation that GuMiho finds himself in. He's currently teamless, so it's really important for him to come out of this group. At the same time, we have Flash in there, and that alone is already a highlight. So tomorrow's groups are going to be really good. Today we had a couple of crazy matches. I mean, especially, I feel today the earlier group was actually a little bit more impressive with the games that we saw and also with the strategies that were used. But yeah, games in second group were pretty good, especially the SOS matches. Very dominant performance today.
Yeah, definitely a really great day of matches. And I think that does it for us for today. See you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.